Führer. The Nazi Party began using formal ranks and badges around 1928, but the title of Führer, meaning leader or guide, was established earlier. Adolf Hitler adopted it in 1921 after threatening to quit the party over plans to merge with another far-right group. He returned only after being granted full leadership powers and replaced party founder Anton Drexler as the leader with dictatorial authority. Initially just a Nazi party leader, Hitler expanded his role after President Paul von Hindenburg's death in 1934. A law passed the day before Hindenburg died merged the presidency with the chancellorship, allowing Hitler to assume the new title Führer und Reichskanzler, leader and chancellor of the Reich. The term Reichskanzler was soon dropped from daily use. When conscription was reintroduced in 1935, Hitler, as Führer, also took the title Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces for himself. The Nazi regime was structured around the Führerprinzip, leader principle, which placed Hitler's will above all laws. All policies, government bodies and officials were expected to carry out his wishes without question. Loyalty to Hitler personally became the foundation of the Nazi system. Authority flowed from him downward, while subordinates were responsible only upward. This system extended beyond the party and government. Civil society, including schools, sports groups and factories, was led by appointed figures rather than elected bodies. Starting in 1934, even the military swore an oath of allegiance directly to Hitler, not the German constitution. In 1941, Hitler took an additional title, Germanischer Führer. This reflected his claim to lead not just Germany, but a broader Nordic Germanic race, intended to include Norwegians, Danes, Swedes, Dutch and others as part of a planned Greater Germanic Reich. As Führer, Hitler directly ordered policies like the Final Solution or Generalplan Ost. The Stellvertreter des Führers was Adolf Hitler's direct deputy within the Nazi Party. Rudolf Hess held this title from 1933 to 41. He was entirely devoted to Hitler, becoming loyal after hearing him speak in 1920 and sharing the belief in the stab in the back myth, blaming Germany's World War I loss on internal betrayal by Jews and Bolsheviks. After Hitler became Chancellor in 1933, Hess was appointed Deputy Führer and soon promoted to SS Obergruppenführer and Reichsleiter. However, by Hitler's decree, he dropped all other titles and was to be known solely as Deputy Führer, a sign of his formal equality but unique status within the party. Based in the Brown House in Munich and also in Berlin, Hess oversaw major departments including foreign affairs, finance, health and education, and also law. All party legislation, except military police and foreign policy, had to pass through his office. He co-signed many of Hitler's decrees and had authority to increase sentences against anyone deemed an enemy of the party, including sending people to concentration camps or ordering executions. Hess organized and spoke at the annual Nuremberg rallies, oversaw party-related court decisions, acted as Hitler's representative in dealings with industrialists and elites, and managed the NSDAP AO, which oversaw Nazi members living abroad. In 1933, Hess created the Volksdeutscher Rat to manage the party's relationship with ethnic Germans living outside Germany. Though presented as independent, the council's members were largely loyal to Germany and answered only to Hess. Hess was also partly responsible for drafting the Nuremberg Laws, which stripped the Jews of Germany of their rights. In 1939, Hitler appointed Hess to the six-man Council of Ministers for Defense of the Reich. After the war began, Hitler named him second in line to succeed him after Hermann Göring. Hess's role ended in 1941 after his unauthorized flight to Britain, seeking peace with the Allies, leading to Martin Bormann's rise. Reichsleiter, meaning national or empire leader, was the second highest political rank in the Nazi Party, directly below the Führer. Each Reichsleiter reported only to Hitler and formed part of the Reichsleitung, headquartered in the Brown House in Munich. Hitler established the rank in 1933 and initially appointed 16 individuals. 6 more were added later. Each Reichsleiter oversaw a major area of party control. Joseph Goebbels, one of the most prominent Reichsleiter, was chief propagandist and later Reich Minister of Propaganda. A close Hitler ally, he pushed for total war in 1943, closing non-essential businesses and conscripting women for labor. Alfred Rosenberg was the party's main ideologue. He led the NSDAP Office of Foreign Affairs, directed the Reich Ministry for the occupied Eastern Territories, and headed Amt Rosenberg, which shaped Nazi cultural policy and surveillance. Other notable Reichsleiter included Walter Funk, Reich Minister for the Economy and head of the Reichsbank. He managed economic mobilization and oversaw the seizure of assets from concentration camp victims. Then there was Max Ammann, who controlled the Nazi Party's publishing house, the press and stolen art. And finally, Hans Frank, Hitler's legal advisor, governed occupied Poland, used forced labor and oversaw 4 extermination camps. Amtsleiter was a Nazi Party political rank used between 1933 and 38. It served as a general staff position at all levels of the party, local, county, regional and national, covering a broad range of administrative and political duties. At the national level, the special title Hauptamtsleiter existed within the national leadership tiers. Martin Bormann held the rank of Amtsleiter before rising to higher roles. As chief of staff to Rudolf Hess in the office of the deputy Führer, Bormann handled daily operations and built a vast internal bureaucracy, involving himself in decision-making wherever possible. By 1936, Bormann was already transmitting orders directly from Hitler to government and party officials. After Hesse's unauthorized flight to Scotland in 1941, Hitler dissolved the deputy Führer's office. In its place, the party chancellery was created under Bormann's leadership. Using this position, Bormann expanded his influence, became Reichsleiter and later Hitler's private secretary. He controlled and limited access to Hitler to strengthen his own position, directed party appointments, extended party control into areas such as armaments and labor, and answered only to Hitler himself. The party chancellery received SS and Gestapo reports on mass killings in Eastern Europe in 1941 and was included in coordination for the Wannsee Conference in early 1942, making it part of the machinery behind the final solution. Another notorious Amtsleiter was Philipp Buhler, the chief of Hitler's chancellery. He also oversaw the Aktion T4 euthanasia program, responsible for killing over 250,000 disabled adults and children, and co-initiated Aktion 14F13, which murdered 20,000 concentration camp prisoners. Dienstleiter, meaning service leader, was a high-ranking Nazi party title created in 1933. It was the second highest rank within the National Party leadership, directly below Reichsleiter. While Reichsleiter required Hitler's direct appointment, Dienstleiter was the highest rank that could be earned through promotion. There were 3 levels of the rank. All were reserved for top leadership roles within the National Party offices, and many who held the title also occupied senior positions in the Nazi government and civil administration. Robert Ley held the rank of Hauptdienstleiter before being promoted to Reichsleiter and becoming head of the German Labor Front. As Hauptdienstleiter, he helped organize party operations and shape labor policy. His work in this role directly contributed to the dismantling of trade unions and the centralization of Nazi labor control under the DAF. Gauleiter was the 3rd highest political rank in the Nazi Party, below only Reichsleiter and the Führer. It designated the regional leader of a Nazi Party administrative area, or Gau. Hitler created the position to tighten control over local party structures. Each Gauleiter oversaw several Ortsgruppen, local groups, ensuring Nazi dominance in their assigned region. Every Gauleiter was only appointed by Hitler and served at his discretion. Though some were initially chosen by Gregor Strasser in the early years, all ultimately needed Hitler's approval. As his personal representatives, Gauleiter were directly responsible to him and could not be removed without his consent. Their main role was to assert Nazi Party authority within their region, coordinate all party activities and affiliated organizations, and expand Nazi influence over all aspects of life. Though powerful, they did not command paramilitary units like the SA or SS within their region. However, they held direct authority over Kreisleiter, county leaders. By the regime's end, there were 43 Gaue to be administered by them. Notable Gauleiter included Baldur von Schirach, Gauleiter of Vienna and first leader of the Hitler Youth; Karl Hanke, Gauleiter of Lower Silesia and final commander of the Schutzstaffel; Arthur Greiser, Gauleiter of occupied Polish Wartheland, who oversaw ghettos and extermination policies; Fritz Saukel, Gauleiter of Thuringia and coordinator of forced labor; and Albert Forster, Gauleiter of Danzig West Prussia, known for ethnic cleansing and forced Germanization in occupied Poland. Befehlsleiter, meaning command leader, was a senior promotable rank within the Nazi party structure beneath Gauleiter, Dienstleiter and Reichsleiter. Albert Speer, architect and Minister of Armaments and War Production, was promoted to Befehlsleiter in 1942 and to Oberbefehlsleiter in 1944. A close associate of Hitler, he oversaw Germany's war production using forced labor. Gerhard Klopfer, deputy to Martin Bormann in the party chancellery, also held the rank. He was involved in the 1942 Wannsee Conference, where plans for the final solution were formalized. Kreisleiter, meaning district leader, was the Nazi party official in charge of local county-level administration. Around 650 such positions existed in Germany, expanding to over 900 after 1941. The role functioned as the middle tier between the regional Gauleiter and the local Ortsgruppenleiter. Originally created to manage election activities, the Kreisleiter role became a central part of Nazi local governance after 1933, replacing traditional county officials. Each Kreisleiter oversaw all party activities in their district, ensuring Nazi control at the local level. Examples include Richard Drautz, Kreisleiter of Heilbronn, known for his extreme fanaticism and brutality during the war's final phase, and Kurt Knut, who served in several East Prussian districts and later held administrative posts in occupied Ukraine. Ortsgruppenleiter, meaning local or town group leader, was the Nazi party official responsible for a town, village or neighborhood sector, typically overseeing between 1,500 or 3,000 households. Originating during the 1930 elections, this role became entrenched in the Nazi administrative structure. Functioning as the primary party authority in a municipal area, the Ortsgruppenleiter often absorbed the functions of traditional local government. Especially after 1933, they became key figures in implementing party control at the community level. During World War II, their responsibilities expanded to managing civil defense, distributing war rations, coordinating relief efforts, and even commanding local Volkssturm militia and military remnants in the war's final stages. They supervised Zellenleiter, cell leaders. Gustav Simon, later responsible for the Holocaust in Luxembourg, started his career in this position. Another one was Hans Zimmermann, who served as Ortsgruppenleiter for the St. Johannes section of Nuremberg, overseeing the area's political coordination. Zellenleiter, or cell leaders, were responsible for overseeing a block of 8 to 12 city streets, typically 160 to 480 households. First established in 1930 under the name Zellenwart, the title was changed to Zellenleiter following the Nazi rise to power in 1933. Initially, Zellenleiter acted as organizers and enforcers of Nazi influence during the party's political climb in the Weimar Republic. Once the regime was established, they became the primary face of the Nazi state for many Germans. As the most immediate representative of Nazi authority, the Zellenleiter ensured party policy was implemented, dissent was monitored, and ideological conformity was enforced within their sectors. During the war, Zellenleiter managed the activities of the Blockleiter below them, with added responsibilities in civil defense, local war production mobilization, and maintaining civilian morale. Toward the end of the war, many acted as frontline military and administrative commanders. Konrad Henlein, who later became Gauleiter of the Sudetenland, began his political ascent through such grassroots functions. As an early NSDAP member in the Sudeten German Party, he led the local party cell organization in the 1930s. Blockleiter, or block leader, was a lower Nazi Party political rank responsible for the political supervision of a neighborhood or literally a city or village block. Often referred to as Blockwart, the warden's duty was to form the primary link between the Nazi authorities and the general population. Each Blockleiter had charge of 40 to 60 households in a neighborhood or street and answered directly to a cell warden. Helfer, meaning helper, was the lowest rank in the political leadership corps, directly above Anwärter, recruits who were not yet party members. It was a junior assistant position, subordinate to all other ranks. The title was common in Nazi student groups, where it was usually held by the leader of a local student cell, reporting to a local Nazi party leader.